What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. If you are interested in analysis, investment, intraday, swing trading, or investing, remember to subscribe to this channel because that's what we do here. I give daily updates and weekly updates. Although I did miss on Thursday, I had some technical difficulties. I did figure it out. Nonetheless, there wasn't really much to say on Thursday. Last week was quite interesting, actually. We had that beige book information come out, not only the beige book on Wednesday, but we also had information essentially regarding the Fed essentially dialing back a little bit in small amounts. And they haven't mentioned actually tapering, so they're not tapering yet, but I think they're leading up to it. I think stuff is accelerating a lot faster than the Fed is expecting, and so tapering talks are kind of ongoing. And one thing to keep in mind, this week in itself, there will be a big week. This week we have core CPI data. We have NFIB, small business survey that comes out Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have wholesale inventory. Again, we got that core CPI is on Thursday. We got the federal budget as well on Thursday. So we got a big week of data coming up. So expect a lot of chop, a lot of volatility this week. And one thing to keep in mind is next week we do have the FOMC meeting with the Fed. So that is going to also play into the picture. I don't think we'll see a lot, maybe towards the end of the week, but ultimately next Wednesday, it's actually Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe, is what is going to happen. The Fed has some information at that point, so we definitely have to be mindful of that and realize that there is going to be chop. In my opinion, the market, even with these pullbacks and everything, it's been very broad. Growth and value have had independent runners, so we're kind of getting back to that normal stock market that we've been seeing, which is good to see. As before, it was just all growth again slammed to the floor and value running. Now there's kind of a broadening going on, which is good to see. Starting to see that again. But being said, I went all cash into this weekend. Because of that fact, I want to see what we open up on Monday. Friday, we had a fantastic run here. Up, no pullbacks, which is something I don't like to see. I don't like to enter positions if the market just continues to run. There will be a pullback. Maybe we gap up, then pull back, but I want to see the pullback before I re-enter. A lot of growth in itself has gone really high. A lot of the industry leaders, which is something I've been talking about, they've run really high. Except your Teslas. Your Tesla got some bad news, but it recovered quite a bit. If Apple actually had a major move on Friday, we kind of put everything in position. So you have but the other ones like your Facebooks and everything else, they're running extremely high. I think with everything that's about to happen with the data this week, could push it even higher, or could drop everything, especially coming into next week. I think a lot of stuff can correct back down. And kind of get us better positions. So I'm kind of waiting on that. But ultimately, I think we're going to hit an all-time high before a lot of the stuff starts happening. How long we're going to stay there really depends on the data and what the Fed has next week. So just be mindful of that. Again, this week, we've been playing a lot of range. Finally broke out of it. We're so close to all-time highs, that the 2359 mark, and we're sitting about close to about $1 away. So I wouldn't be surprised we gap up and break that, possibly and try to run. Maybe we even hit, because there's a trend up here, maybe we hit around that 430 mark-ish, maybe 435 mark. This is based off the daily, so the hour the candles are more this trend line here. So we're looking around somewhere between there for all-time highs. I can see us hitting. But again, any kind of bad data will sink the ship pretty fast, so that's something to keep in mind. Again, a lot of the big players, the industry leaders, are running pretty hot right now, so I don't expect them to be running much more higher. I expect a good, healthy pullback again very shortly, to be honest, even though we've had some of these sell-offs. QQQ actually broke back above. We do want it to break out of this. We want this 336.36 mark to be broken. Try to gain some all-time highs here again. And QQQ has really been struggling to get there, but once it does get there, I think we're really going to run pretty hard. But what ultimately I would like to see is what I think is going to happen here is we might actually run hot up to get close to all-time highs and then correct again to get that second oomph to be able to break all-time highs for QQQ, I think is what is going to happen. But as far as my watch list this week, I got Tesla because of the bounce back on Friday, Apple because of the bounce back, BYD looks good, Airbnb looks good, Lemonade, Plug, and Skills all look good on the daily. So let's go ahead and look right into Tesla. Now, Tesla, again, bad news on Thursday, cutting deliveries in half. Tesla fundamentals are super strong. This is a way overreaction. I almost swung calls into this coming into Friday, but I held off just because I didn't know what the market digestion wasn't good coming into this point. Fridays have definitely been bounce back Fridays. We have been getting some major selling on Wednesdays and Thursdays, which I do expect the same thing this week. With the data coming out, again, that data could show something positive and it could push us up, but more than likely, I think we'll see some more selling and then pushing again on Friday. So come Monday, Tuesday, I think we might see a lot of this, a lot of chop, possibly even pushing. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we push a little bit Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday might be a little stale, and then we start get selling and then push again come Friday. But I like Tesla. As long as we can break this 606 mark, I think we can start heading back up. It looks great on the daily, to be honest. But we do want it back over this middle Bollinger Band. Again, there's a lot of resistance coming up. But I think once it gets back over this, Tesla will start heading back up. I don't know if we're going to see any kind of parabolic moves out of Tesla. It's been trying a lot. It's been stalling. There's been a lot of bad news. Tesla's been in the news a lot too. Or Elon's been in the news a lot too, so that's something to keep in mind. But I think these parabolic moves to 800, I think, or it might be a while before that really happens. I think we have to get out of these next 2 weeks before something like that happens. So, and with all the resistance that we have, we might get some nice pushes. I mean, there's still a good like 40, 50. Tesla still moves $40, $50 out of whack. So, being said, I think that's why I want to keep it on lock to see what it does. Always keep an eye on Tesla. Again, it's essentially, it leads tech. If there's any bad news, it definitely sells off quick. As far as like recovery right now, it's recovering pretty good. But ultimately, I want to see where it goes, especially with the Apple move that I had on Friday. So Apple is the next one I do have. I did like Apple. It really hasn't done a lot, but I do like the move it had on Friday. But it needs to stay above this 26 mark, which is something I'm watching. I actually almost took a position on this on Friday, swing into Monday, but I wanted to make sure it held this. Again, there's a lot that happens. Your futures open, they gap up, they gap down. I know even last week, futures gapped way down on Monday because Monday was closed, and then they marched right back and pushed us way up come Tuesday. So quite interesting. So I wanted to see what was going to happen with this. Again, I think we're going to hit all-time highs before some of this data comes out, which will probably sink us back and pull us back down a little bit and continue this chop and pop kind of pattern that we've been having. But nonetheless, I do like Apple as long as, again, as it holds that 126 mark. I'm looking at possibly shares and calls on this one. Again, overnight session, in and out. And then wait for a correction, again, in and out. Correction is kind of what I'm playing. I do have ASTI is a penny stock that I did get into on Friday. I like the support and everything on that. So I am swinging shares in that for the longer term because pennies don't get quite as affected as some of these beta stocks with this news that's coming out. So BYND is the other one I do have. BYND, I did actually capture this particular move. I'm waiting. I wanted to actually break this only because BYND, when it moves, it gets big moves and it can go up or down very fast. And so being said, I wanted to actually break this 150 mark. If it can, again, Wall Street Bets pumped it up to this point. If it can, being a very shorted stock, that's why. But ultimately, I wanted to break this 150. It does break this. I'll be in more likely shares in this and try to ride this up. Again, really watching that 70-80 mark because it starts stalling around there. Possibly even a parabolic move. We'll have to see. If Wall Street backs it, Wall Street Bets backs it, we might be able to push our way up to 200 or attempt that. Again, this isn't financial advice at all. That's something to keep in mind, but I want that break first. I want that confirmation. I don't want to jump in this until we actually get a break because it could very easily break this and then drop. So again, I want that 150 mark on BYND for this week. Something I'm going to be watching closely. Airbnb is the other one I have. Airbnb, I got a nice move out of this. I took shares on the retest here and rode this all the way up to 51. I got out. I didn't want to, again, on this one, I wanted to break the 152 mark. There's a lot of overhead resistance. If you notice, a lot of these beta stocks and stuff, we've been slammed down quite a bit, and so now we're starting to make our way up. So we got to get through all that resistance. So I've been kind of playing these levels. If it breaks this, I'll get in shares again on this. I haven't really been playing calls on this because calls get chewed up pretty bad on Airbnb. So I've been playing mostly shares. But if it does break this, I'll get back in. If it does come back down and retest this 145 mark, ultimately we don't want to break the 145 mark. I've been entering shares here typically, and then cutting out or keeping tight stops when it comes up here. Again, if this was on a weekday or something, I probably would actually held on to those shares over the overnight session because I would expect it to break. If not, at this point, I didn't want to hold over the weekend. So because there's too much that can go on between Sunday night and Monday morning. So being said, so that's Airbnb. I got that. Lemonade is the other one I have, LMND. This one I've been watching quite a bit. This 192 mark is essentially the daily. It's actually broke above a lot of nice support and looks extremely bullish. And so as long as it can hold this 192.36 mark is what I'm looking at. If it does hold that, I do want to get a position in here. Again, at that particular spot. I don't like the way all this mess is on the hourly, but ultimately, sometimes these lines help, sometimes they don't help because they don't really play the lines. It really depends. A majority of the time they do play the lines, but there is a bunch of junk in here, which I don't like. Wouldn't actually be surprised if we retested this. It's close enough to the 200 moving average here on the hourly and start pushing up. So I may try to enter here, tight stop, and see where it goes from here. Lemonade, more than likely shares for that one as well. Plug is the other one I have. It's been playing range really well, which is really what I like. So I'm kind of looking to see get around that 30 mark again. I did take advantage of this particular push the other day on shares. Again, tight stop. As soon as it pops into these ranges, I tight stop it just to make sure. If it doesn't hold that range, hopefully looking for the breakout, but we've been faked out a couple different times and collapsed right back down into this range here. So again, this is what I'm looking for. Because on the daily, if we can break out of this range, we have a lot of headroom here. All the support is underneath us. So as soon as we break that, I think, yes, there's going to be some other resistance, but I think we're pretty clear from that point. We have a lot of headroom to make up on plug. And so that's why I want to keep plug on watch this week. Skills is the other one I have. Skills. This particular move was great to see. Again, I mark a daily support on green. I would like it to try to come back down close to that 200 if it hits this mark, only because on the daily, if we can retest that 200, which it looks like it attempted to retest it the other day. But if we can come back down here one last time, that 1920 mark-ish, get a position in that. I would like to take some shares in this and try to ride some of this back up. It's got a lot of headroom. I'm not saying it will hit 46, but I definitely got some good movement here, at least a good $10 move, I would think. There's some resistance at around that 24 mark, but I think we can also get up to that 30-32 mark. It could be a possibility. Again, shares and a lot of these contracts haven't been the best unless you're doing leaps. Could could be a possibility too. But again, with the way the market is and such volatile and such chop, I try to avoid that. Options contracts, if I am, it's normally quick, it's in and out. I'm not holding the options very long because I'm expecting a move. I have a window, first hour and a half in the day. I typically keep all my scalps in that window, so that's I'm in and out, and it's just clean. I don't have to hold it. And then normally throughout the day, I'll enter positions if they enter my zones. The setup is there and it looks good. Then I'll normally take I'll take option plays at that point for overnight swings or shares at that point as well. So it really just depends on the stock, the market sentiment, and what's going on. So again, this week has a lot of data, so keep that in mind. And if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.